Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your June 2018 general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers. And thank you for all your likes, shares, subscribes, and for taking the time to send in your feedback and your comments. Always welcome and appreciated. Thank you for that. And always a big thank you to all of my clients out there, both regular and new, for keeping me so joyfully busy and occupied with personal one-on-one readings. And as most of you know, if you're interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, live or recorded, you can get more information and my contact details by going to my YouTube channel's homepage, clicking on that little About button, or you can just look at the description bar of all the videos I post. Please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. Turnaround time for readings is pretty quick. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. So we can almost always set you up a reading within a couple of weeks period of time, sometimes a little sooner. It just depends on the schedule, but almost always within a couple of weeks. So send me an email if you're interested and we'll go from there. I do love and romance, of course, career work and finance, channeled messages from loved ones passed on, and 6 and 12-month overviews to take a look at what's coming in your life for the next 6 to 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look, as well as gift readings if you want to gift someone with the gift of a personal reading. So email me and I will get back to you within the same day or the first 24 hours with some information. So let's move right into this. This reading is for the air sign of Aquarius for June 2018, our water bearers, Aquarius. If you know your rising and your moon sign videos, watch those as well for additional clarification and insight. Sometimes they play out a little more predictably for you at different times. General readings can be sometimes a bit tricky because you're reading for a lot of people. The details and specifics and timing can vary, but the energy and the advice always remains the same. All right, Aquarius, let's take a look here at June 2018 for you. We begin with the 6 of Wands and the 9 of Pentacles. It's a great start to the month. Next to that, we have the 4 of Wands and the 5 of Wands. We have the 8 of Swords with the Hierophant. And at or towards the end of June 2018, we have the Ace of Swords and the 3 of Pentacles. From the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance for the month is Temperance. You know, I kind of got a very specific message for some of you out there, Aquarius, that some of you are going through some maybe friends and family conflict around a celebration of some kind. We are entering the month of June, and I know that summertime, June is known for being the traditional wedding month, and also a graduation month. So there may be some conflict with friends or families around the celebration itself, or maybe a wedding or how it's supposed to go. Okay, so I'm going to start with your crowning card from the bottom of the deck. Your overall energy and guidance for June 2018 is Temperance, Major Arcana card of Temperance. And you have, let's see, we have a couple of Pentacles, 3 Wands, 2 Swords. So no Cup cards this month. Cups is emotions, feelings, and relationships as well. It doesn't mean that you will have an emotionless, relationship-less month. It just means that that energy is not kind of the focus for this month for most of you. So overall focus and guidance, advice, Temperance. Temperance is a card of balance, of holding opposite extremes in perfect unison and harmony. I mean, in the culinary world, to temper something means to combine something of opposite temperatures together in a slow, gradual way so that they will eventually become a beautiful blend and mix and kind of a harmonious marriage. In a mental and emotional way, my analogy for temperance is kind of like being in the middle of a seesaw or teeter-totter. You want to be centered, grounded, focused. So for the month of June, it looks like there may be some conflicts here and there, some challenges here and there, maybe around a celebration or a party or a get-together of some kind or an event. maybe some conflict with other people, you wanting to vary off the traditional path, or other people wanting to vary off the traditional path. Regardless of what area of your life that, you know, the focus is on in the month of June, Temperance says to stay kind of grounded, centered in the middle. This is not the month to let your emotions kind of get out of the way. If you feel like you're getting, you know, overwhelmed and you're seesawing from one side to the other, kind of come back to center. That's what Temperance is. It's like you're in the middle of a seesaw or teeter-totter. When you're on the outside, when you're grounded, you're in the middle. When you know who you are, what you want, remember the priorities, what's really important, and compromise and negotiate around that. But stay centered and grounded, because when you're on the outside end of that seesaw or teeter-totter, you're at the mercy of external events or people or feelings or situations changing, which it's life. They do sometimes change. So Temperance being in the middle is meaning staying emotionally grounded. The time's going to pass anyway. Everything's going to work out all right. Staying centered and grounded. That's definitely advice and focus for the month of June. Don't let your kind of emotions get the better of you. Particularly during, you know, maybe any challenging or you know, potentially stressful situations. We start the month off very well with the Six of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles. I feel like for a lot of you, this is graduation energy. June is the month for graduation for a lot of people. Although for others it could represent, you know, raises, promotions, moving on, starting over, moving out again, going to college, you know, whatever it might mean for you, or getting married. The Six of Wands is a card of victory and triumph. After a challenge, after a struggle, this man went off to do something, accomplish something very important. It's significant victory as well, and he's riding back into town. He's been successful, triumphant. He's getting, you know, applause and cheers. It's also a card of public recognition, beautiful energy. It's clarified and accompanied by the Nine of Pentacles. Wands is fire energy. It's very action-oriented, fluid, change, movement, action, power. It's often about building towards the future. It's creative, artistic energy. Could be creative or artistic endeavors, career, school, you know, things that are about building towards your future. Pentacles is earth energy, and in the tarot, the energy of the suit of Pentacles, it's governed by the element of earth. So it often manifests in the earthly, concrete, practical, you know, effort-oriented part of our lives: money, work, finances, property, job, etc. The Nine of Pentacles is a card of independence, self-sufficiency, self-reliance, self-empowerment. Tens represent completion, so nines represent a pretty high degree of something. She's enjoying, this woman or male, has built up, worked really hard to build up a good, stable, solid foundation for herself. Nobody's handed anything to her on a platter. She's worked hard for the fruits that she is now enjoying. It's sometimes called the happy, single, successful female card, or male. But it really doesn't matter, single or not. If she is single and wants to have a partner, or he's single and wants to have a partner, she'll take her time, because she's not seeking it out of a compulsory need, because she's able to take care of herself. She's worked hard to get to where she's at. It's about loving yourself, your life, moving on forward. So Six of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, you know, end of May, beginning of June, could be raises, promotions, you know, moving into the career or job of your choice. It could be graduating and moving on to college, moving out. There's some sense of triumph and victory over something that you've worked very hard at, that gives you a sense of independence and self-sufficiency and self-reliance. Some of you, this may be more relationship oriented, in that there is definitely celebration here energy as well. The Four of Wands shows up, and that could be for graduations, marriages, anniversaries. So, you know, again, it's a general reading, so the details will vary, but the energy is the same. You've worked hard for where you've gotten to and where you're moving to, and it may be in a very public recognition way as well. Now, next to that, we have the Four of Wands and the Five of Wands. So the Four of Wands is a celebratory card. It can often point to an actual celebration or event, formal or informal. It can represent weddings sometimes, you know, weddings, anniversaries, graduations, something that has a strong connection to family and friends, kind of celebrating. It has that kind of undercurrent of anticipatory excitement when you're getting ready for something, you're planning for a celebration or an event of some kind. Particularly with friends and family, and it can often remind us to reconnect in this busy, transient world we live in, to reconnect to the simple joys of of celebrating our joys and our triumphs with friends and family, and remembering to feel grateful for the presence of these people in our lives, particularly at these celebratory events. And it's right next to the Six of Wands. So definitely whatever the sense of victory, triumph, celebration is, whether it's a job or promotion, graduation, college, getting something you've worked hard for, marriage, weddings, definitely celebratory energy in the air. The Four of Wands is also the happy surprise, unexpected blessing card, and it usually happens within a pretty short period of time, and it may be connected with this celebratory event as well. Now, the Four of Wands is clarified by the Five of Wands, which can represent some conflict. It's not huge conflict. It's not like, tarot card energy or like Seven of Wands energy, but it can represent petty conflict. It can be internal conflict or external conflict with a person or a group of people. It's not terribly serious. Again, it's more petty. You can see the men in this circle are sparring. They're not using actual real weapons. They're using practice weapons. But it can represent petty conflict, circular arguments, the same old argument going back and forth. Nobody wanting to give an end, so there's no real resolution. It just goes around and around and around. Can represent sometimes, gossip, rumor mongering, petty crap like that. Now, it's an undercurrent. It's kind of clarifying or an undercurrent to the Four of Wands, which is a beautiful celebratory card. And I feel like this is more around how something is going to happen. So, for example, those of you who, because I do feel like there's a fair number of people getting married. I mean, June is one of those traditional wedding months, or it could be in the summer, or graduation, or moving out, or moving on to college, or something like that. I feel like there is maybe some conflict about how this process is supposed to happen. If you're going to have this celebration, like there may be some conflict about how big to have it. Maybe you want it big and somebody else wants it smaller, or maybe you want it smaller and somebody else wants it bigger, especially if it's around weddings with, where you have to deal with other people who are also part of this, in-laws, or, you're planning some big thing. It's like, there's conflict about how it's supposed to go. One person wants one thing, somebody else wants another thing. It could be in terms of work and career as well. But it feels kind of petty to me. It's kind of like, and the Four of Wands, there's an undercurrent of advice to this Four of Wands too about remembering why we're here, remembering what the celebration is about. What are we actually celebrating? Let's not get caught up in a bunch of petty noise about, whether we have white napkins or blue napkins, or whether we have it at this place or that place. Let's remember what we're actually celebrating here and celebrating with each other together. So next we have, but it looks like it causes some kind of consternation, Aquarius, because it looks like it takes up kind of a bit of the middle of the month, maybe the second and the third week, because we have a bit of its continuance here with the Eight of Swords and the Hierophant. So the Eight of Swords is a card of that represents kind of feeling trapped, held hostage or powerless, like you're unable to do what you want or make the changes you want or free yourself from a situation. Because swords, the positive aspect to the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Swords too, is that it's kind of in your head, which means that the reality, what you're actually stressed about or maybe feeling trapped or bound by might be valid, but the Eight and the Nine of Swords usually shows up when you've built it up to be worse in your head, or that you're trapped in your head when actually you're not. The only thing that's actually keeping you trapped is the way of thinking, or the idea that you have to do something a certain way, or that you can't do what you want. Because swords is mental energy, it's air energy, and in the tarot this is the energy of what we think, our belief systems, our ideas, our perspectives, and how that affects the way that we live and work and relate and communicate in the world and with other people. So the Eight of Swords, it looks like she's completely like held hostage here, but she's really not. The swords are plenty wide enough that she could walk right through. Nobody's forcing her down on her knees or holding her there, and the chains which are binding her wrists aren't connected to anything or anybody. She could twist her wrists and they'd fall off. She could stand up on her own 2 feet, take the blindfold off, look around and go, I'm not a victim, I'm not trapped here, I can remove myself from this situation. I can free myself from this. It doesn't mean that there isn't. I mean, there's consequences to every choice we make. Sometimes when we free ourselves from a situation or walk away from something or decide to make our own choices and break out of the mold, so to speak, maybe other people won't agree, but you have to do what you feel is best for you. Because that Eight of Swords is clear. I mean, what is this feeling trapped about? Well, it's clarified by the Hierophant. The Hierophant is all about convention, tradition, doing the right thing as everybody else sees it, walking the prescribed path, going along with the group, you know, organized religions, large corporations and institutions, going with the flow. It's neither positive nor negative. It doesn't, being in the energy of the Hierophant does mean sometimes a certain sacrifice of individuality or self-expression, but the payoff is that you get to belong to a larger group, you get that kind of shelter, but it does kind of represent, if you had to boil it down to one word, the establishment or the established way, walking on the sidewalk kind of energy, not on the grass. So, and it clarifies the Eight of Swords. So it looks like, you know, and I feel like it's kind of connected to whatever this conflict about this celebration or this event or potential event is. You may feel like, honestly, I feel like some of you are getting prepared to get, there's a wedding, some kind of event going on. There's a lot of people involved. Everybody's got a different opinion and likes and dislikes about what they want to do. You may want to break out of the mold, break out of that convention, do your own thing. Or you may want to be in convention and they may want you to do something different. I feel like most of you, what you feel trapped by is what you feel you're supposed to do according to everybody else or according to culture or tradition. And you're feeling trapped by that, but you're really not. It's clear here that you're not. You need to kind of, again, the Eight of Swords is sitting next to the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is remembering what it's about. What is this beautiful, wonderful energy that you started off the month with? What is this celebration? What is this really about? And let's bring it back down to that instead of getting caught up in all these details of who wants what. Let's remember what we're actually here for, to celebrate some wonderful thing, the culmination and achievement of this wonderful thing. Do what you feel is best for you, Aquarius. So it looks like it's more about teamwork and compromise and negotiation at the end of the month, which is usually what happens with things like that, especially those of you that maybe are planning a wedding or maybe a graduation, or there's this event going on and you're like ripping your hair out because you're like, everybody wants me to do this thing and I'm supposed to make this person happy and I'm supposed to do the expected thing, but I want to do these other things. There's a way to compromise and negotiate, and I feel like there's new ideas and information and new perspective on how to do that at or by the end of June 2018, because we have the Ace of Swords with the Three of Pentacles here. Aces represent new beginnings, new opportunities, the start of a new path. Swords, again, is that mental energy. So this could be a new idea, epiphany, new information, a new perspective, something new occurring to you, a new way of looking at something or dealing with something, or a new idea. And it's clarified by the Three of Pentacles, which is a card of teamwork, building something together, compromise, negotiation. And it underscores what I just said about the Four of Wands. Bring it, instead of getting caught up and distracted by all the details. What are we really here about? What are we really celebrating? The Three of Pentacles represents compromise, negotiation, and teamwork. What it means is, okay, everybody agrees that there's one thing that we're focused on doing or accomplishing, right? Everybody's got different ideas, but the Three of Pentacles is about everybody coming to the table and going, okay, this is what's really important. Now, how do we accomplish this? Giving a little bit, taking a little bit in order to get that thing accomplished. And there's new ideas and new epiphanies and a new way of doing it and looking at it by the end of the month. Makes perfect sense why your crowning card, your overall energy and advice is temperance. Emotional temperance, staying grounded, staying focused, not kind of, you know, it's really a lovely, beautiful celebration, celebratory energy. Something's totally coming to a culmination and accomplishment. It's wonderful. But the challenge and the temptation is to get away from the beauty of what it's really about and getting caught up with details and this person wanting that and this person wanting the other one. So don't do that. And I feel like trying to, you know, kind of walk the middle line, and you're going to find that compromise and negotiation where, you know, everybody's going to kind of meet in the middle, so to speak. So great reading, really overall. You're not trapped or held hostage or bound by convention. There's a way to do this, Aquarius. So Aquarius, that pretty much wraps up your June 2018 reading. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you found it helpful and useful. Again, if any of you are interested in a more personal, tailored just for you one-on-one reading, you can get more information and contact details by going to my YouTube channel's homepage, clicking on that little About button. You can also look at the description bar of all the videos I post, click on that. Please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the June mid-month readings, and until then, as always, Aquarius, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.